She's a fitness coach, model nutritionist, mindset coach, and she coaches others to achieve well-being in their mind, body, and soul. Please welcome my next guest, Sherrie Carnicle.
All right. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. So how do you define art?
I think art is a process of sharing your heart through creative outlets and expressing different emotions through your art. So depending on what you're wanting to express, it's just going to come out. There's so many different ways to express art.
Yeah.
I think we think of traditional art as being painting, which is beautiful. The way that I express art through my work is doing things in a different way. So, for example, if I'm training a client, then I'm going to be looking at the different ways that the body moves, but changing up maybe the tempo or the order or the way that the body holds the position. And so I really just look at it. I feel like it's a sculpt, like I'm sculpting. So like a sculptor would sculpt sculpture. This is how I do through the mind, through the emotions, and through the physical training. And so it's just, it's artistic. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you know, art, as you just said, art comes in many forms. So, and it helps people feel special. So do you define fitness as an art?
Absolutely. And it took a while to really come to that because I think society looks at fitness as in a certain way. Like, for example, bodybuilding or things like that. I think a lot of people think it's just trying to see how big your muscles can get or trying to see how strong you are, when really it is sculpting. It's just like doing something and then seeing the feedback. And for me, fitness has just been, it's so multifaceted in what it helps with. It helps with the mind. It helps with the emotions. It helps what shows up physically is everything that you did in the unseen realm is now showing up that people can see that work. And so when you see somebody who's fit, they've really taken the time to craft that through a lot of different modalities.
Yeah. And it's really in the mind too, right? You have to keep on like persevering to be that fit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the mind and the heart. It's that connection of why are we even doing this? And a lot of people have different reasons. So thinking about the intention behind it, when you're painting something, there's an intention, there's a message, and then that comes through, and then we see that physically. And I think with fitness, there's an intention, and some people have an intention out of self-love, and some people struggle with things and they might have an intention out of, it doesn't come from a place of love and they're punishing themselves. And so I really try to teach people to set the intention. It's a lot about what that intention is and coming from that loving place.
Yeah. So when I was doing research about you, it was very clear that you had been surrounded by fitness by your parents and your brother from a young age. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. When I was probably 5, my dad would pay my brother and I allowance to do push-ups and sit-ups because he saw the value of us being really fit, and we wanted to earn money. So that was one way to tie it together. And then also watching my mom, she did workouts from home every single morning.
Wow.
I would wake up and she's in the living room doing some sort of trampoline workout or some sort of aerobics. And it was just something I saw. It was just something that was natural to my family. And then my brother was about 4.5 years older than me. And he started with karate as a sport. And I just wanted to emulate what my brother was doing. So I really looked up to him.
Yeah.
So I did karate as a first sport. And then the Olympics were going on around the same time. And I would watch on TV the gymnasts. And that was, to me, that like connected with my heart the most. So gymnastics was my first sport.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
yeah.
Yeah, so art obviously makes people feel special. And since fitness is defined as an art, does fitness make you feel special?
It does. I think I have a special connection with it that I had some things happen in my childhood that were a little bit stressful, and that was an outlet to me where there was a sense of community. I would go to a gym. I started lifting weights at the age of 14.
Wow.
I was pretty young, and I would go to this gym and I would clean to get a free membership. They call them fitness assistants. And in order to get a membership, I would spend hours there doing their, like, cleaning the equipment and cleaning the mirrors. And that way I could get a membership for free. And that's just kind of how it started. So to me, it felt special too, because I developed some strength and showing women that it's not just a boys' sport.
Yeah.
There were times that I'd be in the fitness gym at school and high school, and I was the only girl in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that felt special, that I could show that women can be strong too in that way.
Yeah. Not only men. I think even like today, some in my school, girls are like not as strong as boys. But like it shouldn't be that way. And obviously you're a great example.
Thank you. It's been fun. I think having an older brother and his group of friends and wanting to feel a sense of belonging in a way that I had to keep up in order to, and that's kind of where that started. And then obviously it changes over time, but it started with, if you want to keep up and play outside and with all the kids in the neighborhood, you better be strong and fast, just like all the rest of them.
Yeah, and so my heartification project is all about giving back to the community. So how in your fitness and your coaching, how do you give back to the community?
There's different ways that I've done it over the years. I've been doing this for about 20 years now.
Wow.
And so it's progressed over time. There's been things where I've done corporate wellness speaking. So speaking to larger groups and helping the community know how to be healthy in the workplace. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times fitness is kind of a subculture where people go and do this, but in the environment of work, a lot of times it's not evident. And so people are, I think if the culture and the community are open to learning how to support one another being healthy, that's where I came in. I've also worked with some special populations like people with Parkinson's. I know you mentioned something in your art that you've worked with those populations.
Yeah, people would
really rewarding. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what different types of art do you connect with?
Because I've been such a physical creature in my existence, I feel like I resonate a lot with the body and movement and performing art in terms of dance. That really moves me as an art form, just the different ways you can move the body and express yourself through that. Mm-hmm. I would also have to say that drumming with music, I find drumming to be one of my favorite types of artistic expressions. Again, it's that physicality.
Yeah.
There's a drumming called taiko drumming. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's from Japan.
I don't think so.
You have to check it out. They use their whole body and it's like there's a passion behind it. And I feel like as a woman over the years, to be able to express a certain type of passion, sometimes seeing other people do that through these types of art almost gives you, it feels like a permission to also embody that same passion.
Yeah.
It's like an energy. And that's what moves me, is when I see people through the passion of music and dance and movement, and just, it's like they're not holding anything back.
Yeah.
It's all in it. And that's something that I find myself really drawn to.
Yeah. As you're saying, like all that energy goes into their art. So when I did my pop-up event, I could tell that the people with disabilities and illnesses, their expressions, whatever they were feeling, were like being put out onto the canvas, and for other arts as well, not just visual art, for dance, for the drumming, as you said. So I think art is a really good way to like express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and when I was a kid too, I was obsessed with drawing faces. There was something about faces I would draw. I have this piece of art too that my daughter made too.
Oh,
It was, a long time ago. That this is me and her.
that's adorable.
Isn't that cute? Just
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, I keep this kind of thing around the house, things that she's made over the years.
Oh, wow.
And like I said, in all different forms, I love painting. I feel like I see things in my mind and it doesn't necessarily come out in the way that I see it in my mind. And when I watch other people do that, it just blows me away. Mm-hmm. That really moves me too, seeing paintings and drawings and things with such detail or abstract even. I just find that if it moves me, I can tell because I feel pulled toward it.
Yeah, and you also feel that connection. If the person, that the artist was trying to make, like when you see it, like that feeling, you kind of connect with that feeling. And I love pieces of art when I see that and I connect with it. I try to do that in my art as well.
Do you have an inspiration for your art? Like, was there something as far as like how it actually comes out, what you're thinking about, or do you just kind of free flow and let it happen?
Well, honestly, I just randomly think of images in my head and I just put them on the canvas. And like each like component of my paintings will come from like a different experience I had.
Yeah.
So it kind of just comes straight from my head. Mm-hmm. But before I started my business, I used to just copy paintings like from online. But I feel like that was not really letting my emotions on to the canvas because I was just like copying it straight from the internet. Mm-hmm. Whereas now I actually put my emotion into it and it's all from my head.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just pure creation. I find beauty in so much. I feel like I've always been like that, where I feel like I see beauty in areas that a lot of people might not even see it. I just feel like everything I see, and I really like photographs too. So photos, when I go to people's houses, I will stop and look at their photo wall, and it's like the details in it. And I'm very deep. Like I like details. I feel like it touches a piece of my heart. Like sometimes I'll see something or writing to me as art too. And I'll hear, or even speaking, when people use language is such an artistic form to me. And when somebody says things in a way that it like acknowledges this part that I've always felt or thought, but could never quite put it in words or in a form of art. It's like it says yes. Like, okay, I've always felt this, but I never knew how to express it. And you just did that. And you just acknowledged something for me. That's how it works for me, is looking at everybody's different ways of expression. And wow, I have felt that before. I've experienced that before. I know what you're feeling. I can feel it within myself.
Yeah, definitely. So how does art affect your daughter?
It definitely taps into the deeper part of her. I feel like sometimes we have ways of communicating, and if the verbal communication isn't quite there, you can feel it through the art. Because she was very young, and it's like, wow, I can see the beauty in this sunset or sunrise. It could be either. I look at that and I think her perspective of that shows all the different things that she sees. And I just feel the emotion behind that. So I feel like I'm more connected to her. It connects me to what she's feeling.
Mm-hmm. And can you sense her emotions when she's going through a difficult time through her art?
There are things where I've noticed darker emotions happening, expressing, and I love that it can come through that way. And then there are emotions where I can tell there's a brighter, more joyful energy through it. So for sure. Yeah.
Great.
Because we did go through, I mean, she did go through her father and I splitting up at a young age. And so, yes, there were emotions to be felt. And I always loved that she played the violin, she painted, she would draw and do different artistic things. And I thought that was a helpful outlet at the time.
Yeah, and art is all about expressing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that can help in a difficult situation as well.
For sure. I just think you're doing such amazing things. I went and I looked at your Vimeo, your videos and everything you're doing and getting up and speaking in front of the group. And it's just so inspiring. I can't wait to share. I was going to share I'll share something off of your page to my story. And I love that you're getting this vision. And then it's kind of like you had that goal of $2,500 and then surpassed that goal. And then you had the initial vision to do one thing with the donations. And now it's transpired into the virtual reality pieces. And it just keeps growing. And it's because what's that?
It keeps on building on.
It does. And that's the thing. It's like sometimes we don't know where things are going to go, but if we just trust our heart and go with it, then more like it turns into so much more. And that's what the track I see you're on. I really appreciate you taking the time to connect with me about it, about my feelings on art. You're so amazing. You inspire me to want to do more with art because like I said, I have it in me and just sometimes I don't take the time to just freely create. And you literally inspire me. You really.
Thank you.
My friend and I were talking about this last night. I designed a shirt once for a friend. Like I designed a shirt. It was just using geometric shapes. And it was about my experience in LA and about how there's different circles people run in and lines. And it was just circles and lines. And it came out to be a great screen printed t-shirt. And now my friend who travels the world doing DJing, that's his favorite sweatshirt. He wears this hoodie that has the design in it. It's like, gosh, I could create more of that and do more with helping people, like giving back. Because I do believe in helping people with mental health issues. That's like my target community that I want to give back to is just helping people through whatever mental health struggles they might have through the arts.
So how can people get in touch with you? So we'll put this in the show notes of the podcast.
Okay.
But how, if people that listen to this, if they would want to get in touch with you, how would they be able to?
One of the best ways would be to connect with me through my Instagram account and just send me a direct message. And that's Ms. Sherrie Lynn. MSSHERRIELYNNE. That's a great way. And then also through email, sherriecarnicle@gmail.com. And you can check out my website, sherriecarnicle.com, to learn a little bit more about what I do with my fitness training and coaching.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk.
Thank you. I appreciate you and your dad and your family. They're supportive and they're helping you on this journey too.